Welcome to the show. This is Uncommon Sense. It is unscheduled, unscripted, and impromptu. I'm supposed to have fallen asleep just a while ago. It's about almost 1:30 in the morning here in Singapore, and while I'm gathering the audience, I'll let you listen to this song, which is also my favorite. And when I ran a radio program in Singapore many years ago, this was the introduction song. The program was also called Uncommon Sense. I ran that for 7 years. So if you remember me from that time, then you are as old as I am. Welcome everyone. Let me turn the music down. I'm not going to have a full show right now. What I'm going to do though, I'm controlling. I'm just going to tell you all the rudimentary equipment that I have here. The reason why it's shaking is because my hands are on the table and it's on this wobbly little stand. A stand that I use. My iPhone is on a stand, and it's a stand that I use to type stuff and create stuff and all of that as well. So just to let you know, and I'm here just for a few minutes, and I'm not going to stay too long because right now for me it's about 1:40 at night, and I've been up since about 6 o'clock in the morning. This has been my schedule for the last couple of weeks or so because I'm working on a very, very big program right now. Hey, welcome everyone who came. Let me see if I can scroll. Oh yeah, I can scroll. Forgotten how to do this stuff. Alenko, hey, nice to see you. Tanya, Elizabeta, Alberto, wow, welcome. And Francis, and Anya, and wow, Christina, long time no hear from Bulgaria. Maya, James Escobar, brother of Pablo, maybe, I don't know. Yelena, and hey, Christina, hi. Dorothea, wow, missing in action for God knows how long. Petra, nice to meet you as well. And Sally. The question that was asked earlier of me, and I was a little bit stumped, was how do you balance work life for a woman? They were asking specifically for a woman. Is this moving while I'm talking to you? Here, I'll have it pointed towards me. Is that better? Someone had asked me, why am I not on Facebook anymore? And I'm posting old stuff from a year ago, 2 years ago. It's because I'm working on something so big, it'll just boggle your imagination. So I don't really want to talk about it so much as I want to just do it, bring it out, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll see what it is that I created, what it is that we were doing. Anyway, before we go into that, I wanted to talk about the question I was asked. How do you have a work-life balance for a woman? You see, I personally, can probably quote you all kinds of stuff, what the whole leadership array of women out there are saying, and personally, I think the work-life thing is a little bit suspect. How do you balance something that is your passion with something that is your responsibility? You can't say that this is your responsibility and that is your responsibility and so many other things are your responsibility. Something you grow into, something you have. When you choose to be a wife, I'm talking in terms of a woman right now, and then later we'll address men also. When a woman is discussing how she can balance being a good mother and a good wife and a good leader in a company or in a business of her own, be a good CEO, it doesn't boil down to specific techniques and specific things. If you want to understand it, and this is also for men, if you have a good EQ, that means you're able to kind of sense and listen to what people are saying. I don't mean like listen through and like a psychotherapist does. I'm talking about listen to what they're really saying. Sometimes your employees or your children or your husband are giving you messages that they can't give you otherwise directly. It's very difficult for them to do that. And so they mask it with metaphor, they mask it with some other thing, or with anger. Sometimes if you can see anger not so much for what it is, but as a cry for love, a cry for attention, then you'll notice what it's all about as well. Now that's if you are in a reciprocal relationship with someone that you're married to. If you're in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, you better be clear about what your priorities are. Otherwise, it's going to not work out too well. If it's just, well, anyway, long story short, we come back to the heart. Because when you have EQ, then you'd be able to listen very well. And listening is actually part of the game when you're a good CEO or a good leader as well. You just listen. It's not, it doesn't mean that you accept everything they say. You don't have to accept, listen, and if it's pure shit, I mean, you don't have to implement it. You don't have to put it in place. You just simply dismiss it and just do whatever else you can do. You have to pay attention to all the things these people are doing right, and compliment them if you can, if they're doing it right, and correct them when they're doing things wrong. Now, while you're doing it with others, you're also doing it with yourself. I just wanted to let you know. And there was a thing that I always tell people to do. You have to always be yourself. Not one method of balance is going to work. Sometimes when you birth a company or a new idea, and ask entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs go through cycles of relationships that don't always last. It's very difficult. Ask some of the richest men on the planet, and they'll tell you that it doesn't always work that way. When they start, an entrepreneur is literally a person who's working almost 24/7 because they're in love with a zeal and idea. It's not money. It's not the money so much. The money is a plus. Yes, it's there. It's something that is a part of the equation of a successful entrepreneurship idea or program, but it's not necessarily a goal. So understand that any form of leadership for a woman or a man for that matter is a private journey. It's a private journey inside. No one can tell you these are the trademarks of a woman or leader, etc., etc., etc. Why should a woman leader be different from a man leader? That wasn't said quite right. Man leader, woman leader. Female, 1:30 in the morning. Female leader or a male leader, it should be exactly the same. So you'll have to always understand. Now, I also want to tell you something. While you are doing your leadership role, and this is something you can teach your children as a mother as well, it's just recognizing that while you teach your employees, you're also teaching yourself and your children. You're also drawing parameters around what they can and cannot do around you as well. If you let people walk all over you, then guess what? This is what they're going to do all the time. If they know they can do that, then they'll continue doing that. So teach your children humility. Even in good times and even in bad times, teach them humility. Teach them that in Singapore, they still practice slavery, by the way, just to let you know. They call it housekeeper, maid, whatever they want to disguise it as. But these people are virtual slaves. I mean, they have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you see them all over the place in Singapore. You have a chance. They're washing cars when the owners, employers are sleeping, and then they're the last ones to go to sleep when everybody else has gone to sleep. It's kind of sad, and they're paid some micro wages, not even minimum wage. Geez, it's micro wages. I mean, $300 will buy you someone's time from Indonesia for 7 days a week with barely one day off a month. Come on, guys, can you imagine people disengaged from their own families, women mostly, a majority of them, and leave their children back home, and whatever they earn here, the focus is to give it to the children so that they have better education and better schooling and better homes and everything else as well. But if you're a full-time mother, then you kind of have to let yourself listen to your heart more. These little kids can sometimes become monsters too. So while you're being and laying parameters, and while you're being humble and everything else, and while you're trying to be a good leader, and while you're trying to be a good wife, and again, no simple formula works. There's so much on the internet, and this is not the place to teach you this. I'm just telling you what's from my heart, that you use whatever is in your heart. You need to have a lot of patience. You need to have an incredible amount of patience. First of all, if you have 2 children and a husband, you actually have 3 children, because the man-child. Have you ever seen a man who's sick? It needs so much attention and so on and so forth. And everybody starts to get down on the woman, saying, well, she's dramatic and this and this and that and that. And really, it's the man who's more than anything else. Your safety should not come from the man, even if it's your husband. The safety comes from within you. You don't have to have all the answers for your children now, because hey, even here, me, after so many years and reading as much as I read, there are literally 10,000 books in my room, in my house, and I don't have all the answers. I don't. I mean, I can give you and spit you out what this author said, and that motivational hoo-ha said, and this fellow said, and that person said, but it will not be the truth that will work for you. I mean, some things you can learn. You have to exercise discipline, and again, that discipline is between you. It's a communication, a special discipline between you and your children. And at some point, you have to be willing to get peed on, pooped on, and maybe even vomited on at some point if you're a mother. That's for sure. It's a very tough thing as well. So throughout it all, if I can give you one piece of advice, I would say ask a lot of questions. Even as a leader, ask a lot of questions. As an employee, ask a lot of questions. And don't pretend like you know all the answers. And more importantly, if you can exercise some sense of humor, that would be very good as well. A sense of humor shows that you are, that you don't take things too seriously, that you're exercising your EQ. There's a song, I was just trying to pull it up from my playlist here. It's by Eleanor McAvoy. It's from an album called Celtic Moods. It talks about a woman's heart, and this should be able to describe you as well. By the way, if you have any questions for me, ask me here, and I'll be able to answer. I think there were some questions here. Michael Navarini, hi, how are you, sir? Yelena is in the house. Imran Muhammad Ali is in the house. Muhammad Ali is still with us. Al, my people loves you. Hey, thank you. My name's Mel. Ivana from Prague. Hello, Ivana. So anyway, here's the song. Listen to it while I listen for your questions. Tell me if you resonate with it.
My heart is low. My heart is so low. As only a woman's heart can be. As only a woman's. As only a woman's.
Questions.
As only a woman's heart can know. The tears that drip from my bewildered eyes. Taste of bittersweet romance.
Can you hear this? It's
still in my hopes.
just
still I'm
do a signal thing or just a thumbs up if you can hear.
even though I'm an adult now. My heart is low,
Great.
my heart
Thank you.
is so low. It's only a woman's heart can be. It's only a woman's. It's only a woman's. It's only a woman's heart can know. The restless eyes reveal my troubled soul. Memories flood my weary heart. I mourn for my dreams. I mourn for my wasted youth. And while I know that I'll
Battery 90%. Connected to Mel's MacBook Pro.
Switching speakers. Sorry.
heart is low.
Better speaker.
My heart is so low. There's only a woman's heart can be. There's only a woman's. There's only a woman's. There's only a woman's heart can know.
How do we know when it's time to move on?
My heart is low.
The fact that you're asking,
My heart is so low.
it's already time.
It's only a woman's heart can be. It's only a woman's. It's only a woman's. It's only a woman's heart can know. My heart is low.
I'll turn the music down now a little bit. The question that was asked just now by Magdalena. And Magdalena asked, how do we know when it's time to move on? I would imagine you're asking about moving on from a relationship. And Magdalena, the fact that you're asking already tells you, or tells me, that it's time for you to move on anyway. I'm sorry, but it's true. First of all, if you've done everything you could possibly do, if you are real in your relationship, you don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. Even as a leader, this is what I tell you: be yourself. You don't have to be particularly beautiful, particularly in speech or anything else or behavior, but just be yourself. And if your employees don't like you or what you stand for and who you are as a person, because you are the brand, you are the person, then they have no business working for you. Think about it. Same with your relationship as well. If they have difficulty with who you are, but then again, I'm assuming you know who you are. Problem with that is when a lover tells another lover, you have got to love me for who I am. And then I ask them a question: who are you? They don't know. And they're learning all the time. So who you are changes from day to day, depending on the people you meet and the books you read and the movies you watch and all the influences around you, and so on and so forth. Magdalena says, in the center. Was there a statement before that? Let me see. How do we know when it's time to move on from in the center of town, and just go to the edge, and when it's crowded, move out? I guess. Any idea, plans? Okay, people, if you have a question for me, use a full sentence. That would help me. I do have ideas, I do have plans, but that I don't know if that's relevant to what you're saying. So let me know a little bit. That'll be great. A full sentence. Hey, Irena, nice to see you. Pat Potaporn, nice to see you too. And Tanya, thank you. Exactly. If you have a question, caveat, ask me a question. I'll answer it tonight, because I I don't know what it was. I said to myself, I'm not going to be on Facebook Live because there's too many people doing stuff and too many people giving you speeches as if they have all the answers in the world. People, I may not have all the answers. The more I learn, the more I study, the more I'm beginning to realize that the stuff I know is that little bit compared to miles and miles and reams of information that I don't know. But what you have when you listen to me is that we can solve problems together, and I can help you through these problems, and that's what I can do, if that helps you. Okay, Nina, hi. Thank you from the heart. Well, you can thank me from other parts as well, but the heart is good for now. It's a joke. It's a late night joke, but maybe not so much. Sinisha, have not heard from you for a long time. You have disappeared, my friend. Have you gone bankrupt? What has happened with your ideas? We have no idea what is happening. Catch up sometime. Give me a call. And yes, Irina, you're right. This is what I teach. And if you want to have probability thinking, possibility thinking, think in terms of possibilities, and for that matter, positive possibilities. Wow, that's a mouthful. Then start thinking in terms of there are no problems, they're just situations. Problems, by their very inherent definition, cannot be solved. At least not at the same level of consciousness in which you created the problem. But a situation can be altered. You can change so many variables and make it happen. Anya says, a coach once told me, when you know that you know nothing, that is when you know a lot. It was really deep for me. Yeah, when you realize that there's a lot that you have yet to learn, then you begin to be flexible and pliable. The people who are less flexible and people who don't have a sense of humor, have you noticed they're very serious about what they've learned? Listen, you have to be serious. And no laughing matter, no humor. This is what I believe, and I'm unchangeable. It's so hard to talk to these people. You just want to turn around and walk away and say, okay, sorry, let me bow down to you 3 times and just walk away. They live in a world of their own. Elizaveta, artist extraordinaire. I feel fear about steps that I need to do and I don't know why. It's natural, kiddo. I feel fear about doing the things that I do, and I guess if we compare, your steps are steps that I've been through at some point earlier in my life, right? And I understand your fear because I went through the same fear as well. And now if you were to take the steps that I'm taking right now, it's scary as hell. It's holy crap. It's like facing Dracula with your neck wide open. That's kind of what it's like, what I'm doing. If I succeed though, holy crap, it'll be amazing. So start thinking, Elizaveta, in terms of the outcomes that are positive. Don't think about what if that are negative. All the what ifs. What if I fail? Then immediately ask your mind to say or say it to counter your thought.
It's 2 hours.
That's my speaker. My computer talks to me right now. The only one that talks to me. 2 o'clock in the morning. You're listening to me. I'm Dr. Mel Gill. This is Singapore, and I'm broadcasting from Singapore on Facebook Live. I meant to do this for only a few minutes, but it looks like it's longer now. Just to finish the question that you had asked, if you can understand, Elizaveta, that every time your brain says, what if I fail, ask yourself, what if I succeed? Every time your brain says, what if I'm rejected, say, out loud so that you can hear it, what if I'm not, what if I'm accepted, what if he hates me, what if he loves me? You know the pattern. So that's called cognitive behavioral therapy. To start to put thoughts in your head that are the opposite of what you're always thinking of, things that can possibly go wrong, Murphy's Law, etc., etc., etc. Also, what will make you less fearful is to think of the positive outcomes. If I do this, this will happen. And imagine yourself, spend a little bit of time sitting down and visually, auditorily, with touch, kinesthetically, what you're going to feel with smell and taste. What are you going to feel? You know, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, gustatory. All of these 5 senses roll into one. What is it going to feel like when you achieve that goal? And then you'll be able to achieve that. Now, hold on for a second. I lost you somewhere in there. Wow, so far back. I feel fear about steps. Yeah, I hope that helps you. Christine Victoria, that was a very good question. And you know everything a microsecond before you die. That's right, it's true. Not a microsecond, 2 minutes. And Cherry from Thailand. Oh my God, how have you been, Mom? And Maria Eleva, where the hell on the planet are you now? Bali, I last saw you in God knows where. Let me know where you are. Any other questions? Why can't you sleep? Why can't you sleep, or why can't I sleep? I choose when I sleep. I mean, I'm one of those fortunate people that I work so hard that anywhere I am, on a bed or on a couch, in a movie, on a plane, I just sleep, and I can. I'm just exhausted, so I do sleep. Or I choose boring meetings and I put these glasses on, shades, you know, and just going there, and I'm hoping to God that I don't snore as they. Yes, Mel, what did you say? I said I had to take a deep breath of air with your brilliant ideas. I can sleep. I don't have a problem sleeping. Jonah, hey, how are you, kiddo? What fundamental steps do we need to take to realize our calling in this life? You know, something I've noticed as we go on in life. There's a part of you, your subconscious mind. If this little plug is a representation of your conscious mind, the one that's paying attention to me right now, the other part that's paying attention to everything I am is bigger than the room that you're in by comparison. So there's nothing about the subconscious mind, and that part of your mind already is aware of the answers, already is aware of your purpose, already is pushing you in the direction of your purpose. And your purpose is basically who you are. It's not what you do. Just understand that. What you do are just goals along the way, things that you do along your purpose. You might be a giver, a teacher, an educator. You might be a person who's a leader. That's your purpose in life, is to lead. And it's basically a part of who you are. It expresses itself in who you are. So I hope that whether you have it consciously or not consciously, you don't have to pigeonhole it. You see, I hesitate to tell you to find, Jonah, find your purpose in life. And my purpose is to be whatever, And now you're pigeonholing yourself for the rest of time. God knows what you're going to learn along the way. What more books are you going to learn? And all of a sudden you've decided, I'm no longer going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a fisherman. So you just fish. God knows what you're going to do. An athlete. Best wishes from Istanbul. I love Istanbul. If you have a chance for me, Berna, nice to meet you as well. Take a picture of you having Turkish coffee in Aşk Cafe. And I just missed that place. Next time I get a chance to do that, I'm going to go there. Let's see, other questions. Yamel, how could you explain in easy way how to let go, in sense when you want something so much, how to let go? Easy question to ask, and you choose 2 o'clock in the morning to ask this question. What are you holding on to? What I do as a friend is I tell people, tell me what it is you want, and I will show you and teach you a way to live without it. If you want a man in your life, a particular guy, I will show you how to live without him. or her or it. I don't want to exclude the people who are interested in camels as well. So you have to address, okay, this is the easy way that I found. If you take a look inside at the person you were before you met that thing, that person, that whatever, and what were you like before? Go back to that time. Allow yourself to sit and relax and go back to that time when you were that person before you met this person who is now, you know, you'll die without this person in your life. I'm assuming it's a person because almost always 99% of the time you're talking about a person. Now, please let me know it's a person or Marta. Is it a person or is it an animal or vegetable, mineral? Let me know. And I'll help you with either one. If you're specific, if it's hypothetical, it's very difficult for me to answer that question. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but you know what I mean. So my purpose as your friend, which is what I'm gonna treat you as right now. Again, I'm not the wise one. I'm still like you, learning on the path. It's just that I've made more mistakes than you, so I know not to hit your head against a wall. If you make the source of your happiness a thing, it could be a piece of paper, it could be a pen. The source of my happiness is this pen. This pen is everything I ever dreamed about. Look at its sexy contours and its clicks. Oh my God, it clicks. Ooh. And it just feels so good on my lips, and oh my God, I cannot live without this pen. And it writes, oh my God, it writes so well. No, this little fucker's not writing, but anyway, it writes so well. I cannot live. And then one day it stops writing. One day the ink runs out, and one day it becomes frayed, and things you used to admire on the edges and all of that now becomes worn out. And guess what happens? Oh, I don't love you anymore. I don't feel the same way. The pen, you're not writing for me the way you used to, right? It's your fault. I loved you. I gave you my time. You know what I mean? It kind of works that way. You blame people for you getting attached to things and to people. And if you make them even worse, if you make them the source of your happiness, then forever I'm going to be so sad because my pen hurt me by not giving me happiness like it used to give before. Are you crazy? Are you alright? You know? What was the source of your happiness? Make yourself the source of the happiness. Give to yourself stuff. The pen is just a pen. It writes, and then today it writes. You're so happy it writes. Wow, what a nice pen. Compliment it and let it on its way. And then get another pen. There's so many pens in the world. Have you noticed? There's 7 billion pens in the world. 7 billion. I'm alluding to something, but I hope you pick it up. And then you'll be okay. So, I hope that helps you. Work on making yourself the source of happiness. Cherry with all the flowers. How wonderful. Thank you, Demel. Claudia, welcome. I have trouble sleeping, Yelena says. And when I do fall asleep, I still work. But is better than it used to be. I have to thank you for that. You're most welcome, kiddo. Like I said to you, Yelena had trouble sleeping, and I told her, what are you doing before you go to sleep? And she's reading and preparing notes and doing what she needs to do tomorrow and the day after, solving problems in her head. So guess what? That other part of you, remember you have a conscious mind, and the subconscious mind is bigger than the whole house that you're in. That subconscious mind never goes to sleep. It's always awake. It's always paying attention to something. Have you noticed that sometimes you be asleep, fast asleep, you're really asleep, you're out, and all of a sudden the cat comes into the room and then just kind of sits next to you, and you have a dream, and that dream involved your cat of some kind, and so you wake up and voila, you know, and it happens that way. So your subconscious mind is never asleep. It's always solving problems. It's always categorizing and compartmentalizing the rest of your day. and so you and what has happened, what hasn't happened. So I suggest to you the few minutes you go to sleep, about 10 minutes before you go to sleep. The 10 minutes before you sleep and the 10 minutes after you wake up is called the hypnagogic and the hypnopompic states of mind. That's when your brain is in alpha rhythm. It's starting to go from beta, which is da 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 da, and into smooth alpha rhythm, and then going into theta eventually, and into delta sleep. But while it's in alpha rhythm, there's a direct communication with your subconscious mind. So at that moment before you go to sleep, I suggest you think about all of the possibilities. Think about all of the joy that's going to happen when you wake up. You're going to meet your child. You're going to meet your man child, your woman child. I don't know who you meet in the morning. Who knows? Your parents, your grandfather, your grandmother, your uncle, your aunt, somebody. You're meeting someone. You're going to have. For me, I look forward to. I have a deep, deep relationship. I'm in a relationship. Did I tell you that? I'm in a relationship with Flat White. Her name is Flat White. She served various different ways. Sometimes hot, sometimes depending on how hot it is outside, you want it cold as well. So I look forward to this Flat White, and I don't have a cup here, but if I can imagine a cup, yeah, here we go. A cup. Imagine a cup like this, and I'm really just taking my time sipping on this cup, and I'm just so happy. I and the cup become one, and it's almost erotic. I don't say that a lot because they will stop serving me in the coffee shops if I start to talk like that. But you see, what I look forward to are the little things. Don't look forward to the big things, and so that if they don't happen, you get disappointed. I look forward to the incremental small things every day. It could be anything. It could be a meeting with a friend. It could be a drive in the car. It could be a movie you're looking forward to that's coming out. X-Men, Triple X-Men, depending on what kind of movie you watch. You know, whatever it is, you decide whatever that thing is. Okay? I hope it helps you. Yes, expressing who you are, that purpose can change. It's 2 a.m. there. Yes, it is. It's 2:15 now. Yelena said, "Oh shit, is there a constipation problem?" Yelena, I can't help you with that. You have to see a medical doctor. I'm a psychotherapist. A little bit different. I don't even deal with pissed. It's a baby, Mel. What? Is it mine? Does it look like me? I haven't met yet. What is it? What does it mean? It's a baby. You want to let go of a baby? Oh. Not born yet? Okay, time to get serious, I guess. Woman, this is your private journey. I cannot tell you what to do with your body. This is something that only you can do. Okay? And you can decide. I cannot tell you, yes, it's okay, or yes, it's not okay. All I can do is support you, whatever your decision is, and you have to live with the consequences of that. There's a lot of emotional consequences. You just have to know there's a lot of guilt you're going to have to deal with. Yeah. Okay. But if it's a live child, excuse me, you want to leave a child? Are you alright? Get some help. Snejana says, "Dear Mel, hello from Croatia. Hi. Can you explain to me how to stay in focus when we do something or want to do something?" Sure, absolutely. Focus. Focus is, you know, I tell people that you don't need positive thinking. It's not necessary to be a positive thinker. What you do need to have is positive focus, and focus is very simple. Let's say you have in this case, let me see what you are possibly talking about when you have to do something. Okay. Let's say you have to write a paper or a book or something. Now, what you can do to keep that focus in place is to give yourself a particular time that you have to do that activity. And don't veer from that time. You see, I wrote my very first book in 2000, in the year 2000. It's called Uncommon Sense. It's now in about 13, 15 countries and languages. But Made a Secret, I wrote 10 years later. 10 years later. I didn't write any books in between. But after the Made a Secret in 2010, brain not working now. That flat white would be very useful right about now. From 2010 till now, I've written 157 books. Yes, you heard it right. And all because of one man who died last year, my friend, Dan Pointer. He's also part of the Made a Secret. Dan said to me, because I told him, Dan, I admire you. You can write this book. You have such focus. How do you do this? You know, this is amazing. I'm looking for the inspiration. I can't find it. You know, what the hell? You know, and he says, Mel, you're a motivational speaker. I say, yep. You speak even when you don't feel like speaking. I say, yep. Even when you don't, you are not inspired, you still speak. I say, yep, I do the best damn job I can do. Even when you're sick, you still go out there and do your thing. I say, yeah, you know, that's what a professional does. Exactly, he said. That's what I am. I'm a professional writer. You see, Dan had written 14 books. And so a light went on in my head, a light bulb. And I said, holy crap, that's it. He just categorized himself as a writer, a professional writer. Now, as a result, he saw his books finished and coming out finished. And so he started to focus and give himself 4 hours a day where he just focused on that one thing that he needed to get done. It may have started with you as a 1 hour activity or half an hour, and that will expand next week to 2 hours, and etc., 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 and it will continue to grow. So that's how you do the focus. You don't start straight away with the big job and then strain your brain. It's just like going to gym. You know, you don't start with the 50-pound weights and go like that. You know, I'm not trying to make an Italian symbol or anything like that, but you know what I mean. You start with 5 kilo. You start with a pound, maybe 1 kilo, and then you start with 2 kilos and 3 kilos and 4 kilos, and next thing you know, you got muscles that can pull 20 kilos or so up. So I hope that helps you. Start small. Pat from Thailand. My question, what is your destiny of life? It says see more. Wow, long story. Hold on, Pat. Incidentally, I just watched Dying to Me interview and TED Talk of Anita Moorjani. Yeah, she's a great person. Quite stunning to see you who experienced death again. Yeah. Yeah, except for the people who look at me and say, oh, you're still alive. The rest of it is kind of nice. Your question is, what is your destiny of life? It's too big a question, Pat. It's too late at night to answer so big a question. My destiny? It's huge. One day, I tell you what, when I'm in Bangkok, I think that's where you are. I'm going to assume that's where you are. A lot of porn happening over there, and a lot of people named Porn. No wonder we have that problem. I'll call you, and you'll buy me a cup of coffee, a flat white in particular, and we will discuss this destiny thing. Anybody else with a question? Dying to be me. Yes, you are. You'll die naturally, so don't worry about it. In fact, that's the only thing you'll do successfully. If you do nothing else successfully in life, give yourself consolation. You will die successfully. That I can guarantee. About that letting go question. Oh, we're holding on to it. My situation is bigger. Of course, bigger infertility situation. Someone told me that I need to learn to be perfectly happy without baby, to let go. I really don't know how to let go. Okay. You want a baby. My friend Smiljan Mori and his wife Helena spent a lot of time trying to do IVCFs and all of these things, in vitro fertilization stuff, and And they went through a very tough time before they had their own baby as well. I guess a part of you, your friend is talking from pop psychology, that if you let go of something, it'll come to you and this and that. There's no guarantee. We don't know for sure. And again, you're asking me as if I'm some wise guru that came out from the mountain. I'm just a friend. Okay? I'm a psychologist, a psychotherapist. I go to mental hospitals. I take people out of mental hospitals and occasionally put people in. That's a different story. I don't want to do that, but sometimes that's where they're going to get the treatment. As far as your baby thing is concerned, ask yourself these relevant questions, and hopefully you sit with a professional while you do this. And the question is, why do you want a baby so bad? Yes, there's a biological clock. Yes, it's going. Yes, you want a part of your DNA out into the world. But I also want to tell you something. The minute you let go of that and start to see the outside world, you'll also realize that there are a lot of children out there without any parents. Adopt. Really adopt. I mean, I could tell you heart-wrenching stories of children who are in foster homes, going from one foster home to another, to another, to another, searching for someone who would be their father or their mother. It's very tough, and you would lift the heart and the lives of someone if you adopt. Focus on that instead. Sometimes when you start to want to bring your own DNA out into the world, seems a bit egocentric, don't you think? I mean, unless you're some kind of gorgeous model and think that your genes belong there and your husband is some kind of Einstein, and between the both of you, you're going to produce this wonderful, eugenically perfect person. I would urge you to take a look around in all the orphanages of the world. They could probably use your help. Later at some point when we have coffee together, I'll tell you how to let go. She wants to have baby. Yes, I heard that. Mel, so nice to see you. Medea, nice to see you too. Andrea, welcome. Nawang Setin, sir, I want to tell you that even though some people don't like your stuff, this is a very wise man. If you guys are seeing his name here, come to his Facebook page. He shares a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom here as well. He's a monk and someone I look up to a lot. Also, absolute wisdom. If you want wisdom, go there. I'm nowhere wise compared to him. My dear Mel Gill, I have to help Marta. She didn't ask you to get rid of a baby. How to get rid of a baby wish? Okay, go help her. Great advice for adoption. So good to hear you again. Marcia, I'm all tears. I will adopt someday. Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? Tomorrow I'm going to post you some videos I have of children who were not expecting to be adopted. And all of a sudden the foster parents decided that these were the children they wanted to have. My brother, who lives in Chicago, also has adopted, and Johnny is more part of the family than some real members of the family. I love the kid, and he loves the kid like our own. I cannot imagine a time that Johnny was never part of us, you know, and he's always is. As far as I'm concerned, he's blood, you know, thicker than blood. So sometimes it's best not to want that kind of a child so quickly. You can even have babies from Russia, from India, from China, from Africa, from Vietnam, Cambodia. And if you don't adopt those babies, they grow up in terrible conditions. So you'll be saving a life and maybe creating a future for them that It's not possible otherwise. But again, listen to your heart. Go inside. Stop pining and crying about stuff. The world has too many people crying. How about you go inside and listen to your heart and see what it tells you, you know? Judy Collins sang a song many years ago. I don't know if you ever heard it in 1985. That when a child is born in the world, there's always a possibility that this will be the child that will save the world from all of its ills and all of its pain. Children. Can't live without them, can't eat them. Mothers of teenage children understand exactly why animals eat their young. When they're babies, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And they are, like the song says, a ray of hope. But when you're pining for a child, is it that child you're looking for, or is it the child within you that you have swallowed and not allowed to come out? And maybe you need to pay attention to that. Maybe you should be taking care of that person inside that doesn't have a chance to be a child when she was young, who had to swallow all of that childishness because she had to be responsible. She had to be an adult. She had to take care of things. She had to do so many things. The weight of the world was on her shoulder. Maybe it's time for you to look after that child inside. And when you can do that effectively and you can do that well, then you will find that love that you've been looking for. That child. That child is you. The child is you. You know, when I asked you just now about work-life related, sorry, choked myself up. The work-child, the work-life balance. Let me stop this. I'm talking about giving yourself an opportunity to be your authentic self and to pay attention to what it is you're doing and what it is you're thinking and what it is you're feeling at all times. That means you gotta separate yourself from people, you know, like I'm doing. I'm separating myself from a lot of people. I don't meet people. I don't want to meet people. I only meet people because I have to, because of this thing I'm launching. It's huge. It's big. And by the end of this month, I'll make a big announcement about it, because I'll get all my Facebook friends to participate. It will change the world. Truly change the world. But for now, ask yourself questions, you know, but don't demand time of other people when you ask these questions. Just tell them to answer whenever they have time, and people will help you. People like me will help you also at the same time, whenever I can and whenever I am not sleeping. It's 2:30 in the morning here in Singapore. I hope that helps. Sorry, I was at a loss for words because my mind, my brain was on the millions of children who are orphaned by war and disaster. And if you know what's happening in the Middle East, and you know about the Syrian refugees, and you ask yourself what the hell kind of planet we live on that allows all this to happen. I don't want to bring you down. I just thought I'd just bring that up. Any other questions for me, people? It's the unconditional love that we are all looking for. Exactly. The unconditional comes from inside. Only you do not judge yourself. And sometimes when you do, it becomes very difficult. Hello from Istanbul. Hi, Seda. Seda? What do you think of panic attacks? Thank you. I don't think much of them as well. I get a panic attack every time I see ex-wife, but that's a different... I'm just kidding. People ask me, why do you have so many ex-wife jokes? I said, that's why you have ex-wives, so they have jokes. You know, this is how it is. Just kidding. Panic attacks are, again, anticipating the future. When you are anticipating the future in a negative way, say you're playing a what-if game. It's called a what-if frame that people live in. What if I don't succeed? What if people hurt me? What if I do this and something goes wrong? What if? Again, every time a negative comes up, a what-if negative, say what if positive, the opposite of it. What if people hurt me? What if people heal you and don't hurt you? What if they reject me? What if they love you and accept you? What if they don't like my idea? What if they do like the idea? So you cancel out the thought at the beginning, and every time it comes up, you persist and persist and persist. And soon, even if you change 10% of your thinking to a more positive way, your whole life changes. You become humorful. You be able to laugh. You're not freaking out about stupid things and small things and making them into big things. Let me see if there's a song that I have about this. I prefer to answer questions with songs because, you know, we all have survived very harsh situations, just to let you know, and all kinds of harsh conditions. That allows us well, it allows us to actually share our wisdom, doesn't it? When you think about it in the long run. We are survivors, all of us. You, me, everybody else. You never know. You have dreams. I have dreams. We all have dreams. Sometimes they're impossible dreams. But were you like me, that sometimes when the dreams happen, you have doubts of some kind? They always creep into your brain at some point. Then understand that's natural. It's okay to have doubts. I have them all the time. But I always sit down and I examine myself. When you're sitting with people, and the people almost always become your sounding board, people that you love, trust, and they have to say just one word. Example, I'm sitting with somebody who I love and care about, who I presume love and care about me, and I'm telling them my big dream. I'm about to build this amazing thing, and I'm about to and it's going to be and it's going to be and it's going to be this, and it's going to be that. And then the person says, I see. Are you sure? What do you mean? Are you sure it can happen? I'm not sure now that you brought it up. You know what I mean? And you don't need to be around people who question you. If you have a dream, find people who have a similar dream. Hang out with them. If you have a goal, find people who have a similar goal. Hang out with them. Because the kind of problems you're going to have, the kind of issues you're going to face, are the issues that they're facing as well. You don't want people who are realistic, who love you, but they're realistic. They want you to be down to earth. So you have an impossible dream. This will be familiar to most of you. I hope that helps. Lawrence, welcome.
To dream the impossible dream, to find the unbeatable foe.
I'm just pausing
to bear
with music
with unbearable sorrow,
so that you can write your questions to me. I'll answer 2 more, then I'm going to say goodbye.
The unwritable one, to love pure and chaste from afar, try when your eyes are too weary to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this.
You know, I remember this song playing when I was 15 years old, and I used that as a theme song. It's Man of La Mancha, Don Quixote de la Mancha. I always saw myself as that person that who conquered all of my problems and what have you, and I always found a way past everything. But it always took time. It always took an ability to be able to think in terms of possibilities. If you are the kind of person that want to be happy when you wake up in the morning, I'm assuming that most of you are going to go to bed soon. And if you're like me, you're up late working on crypto machines and what have you. If you are in a relationship with someone, I'm not suggesting that everybody be single like I am most of the time, but I'm asking you to, if you are in a relationship, to recognize that you are single in that relationship, that you have your breath, your breathing, you have space. And if you don't have any of that, no space, then you shouldn't be in that relationship. So either you're in with somebody who's also freedom loving as you are and not nervous about losing you to this and that and all kinds of stuff, then, and not playing all kinds of guilt games with you and all kinds of not authentic stuff, then you have to go with your gut and recognize that that relationship will be based on who you really are. I mean, the authentic self that you have. You're healing each other from the world. Because the world sometimes hurts you inadvertently. Not that it wants to, it does. It's just people are all looking out for themselves. They don't really care about you. They don't care about your business. They don't care about what you're starting. They don't care about your relationship. No one does. Everybody's looking for themselves. Everybody's tuning into this thing called WIIFM. A radio station, sounds like, but it's called What's in It for Me. Unfortunate as it is, but it's true. Even people in relationships are. But if you do find that person who is with you as a team, I mean, as part of a team, and that's your goal in life, then it's wonderful. It's not. Some people are in a relationship because of how they feel when they're with you. Now, that's a little bit selfish. If you're in a relationship because you're serving, and that's one of the biggest things of leadership as well, is to serve. You serve people, but you're not a servant of anyone. I hope you recognize the difference. And when you serve, this is where you give the best of yourself. And then after that, it's up to that person. If they don't want to learn, if they don't want to improve, they don't want to go forward, and they don't want to grow, then that's not your fault. You kind of have to lose that relationship at some point. So whatever hell that you think you are right now, my friends, trust me, it's the way you think about it that's going to change how you feel about it as well. And it all boils down to thinking. I mean, yeah, Buddha said it a long time ago, everything is the mind. Whether it's good or bad, it's your mind. It's how you see it. I have a friend, W. Mitchell, who's also in the Meta-Secret, and he had 95% of his body burnt off. His hands were burned, his fingers were burnt off until he only had just these stubs, and yet he could cut meat and serve himself. He's on a wheelchair, he doesn't walk that much, but I'm in a restaurant in Santa Barbara and watching him pick up the waitress. It's cool to watch, you know. He sees them as challenges. And he said something very important. He said it's not what happens to you that matters, it's what you think about it and what you do about it that matters. And I hope that that also is your philosophy in life as well. It's mine for sure. So there's going to be a lot of negative stuff. Again, I said that in a Facebook post today. I don't know which idiot told you that life was going to be filled with wonderful, beautiful, positive experience throughout and positive people throughout. It's not true. You know, just because you're exercising the law of attraction doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Bad things are not going to happen. They do. It's just, this is part of the being in Earth School. This is part of being alive, you know. It's how you deal with all those negative people and how you deal with all those negative events that make you the powerful person that you are. That's more important. And Game of Thrones, I watched it once. It was boring as hell. I didn't. I've got too much to do to watch TV and stuff, and I wish I could. So I hope that answers you. Galia Bakova, hi, from Plovdiv. Dear Mel, thank you for your kind and wise words. And no, not wise, I'm just Mel. And thanks for the try everything line in your advice. I remembered it when I heard this song. You gave me a YouTube. I cannot play it here, kiddo. I will play it at some point. What was it, the Macarena? Just kidding. It'd be a greeting to you and the audience. Well, they can't hear it either. I either switch myself off and they listen to it. If you can tell me what it is, I've got this great sound system here. I'll find it. Macarena, was it? I love Neurophonics, the perfect health generator. Oh, great, you have that. Fantastic. They were not supposed to be released to the world yet. I was supposed to release 125 of them all at the same time. Those, what you have, the Neurophonics Perfect Health Generator, the Wealth Generator. Wow, you have that too. I listened to them for a long time, especially during the alpha state. I'm still listening. Fantastic. That's good. You have a part of history. I had 5 of them sent out for testing on the brains of various people, and that was done when? Holy crap, that was 6 years ago, at least. That's a long time. And thank you. Keep that. It's history. The rest are all going to be downloadable, so you'll have it. From Sophia, I'm so sorry, Galia. What's the name of your song? Try Everything by Shakira. I don't know that one. I try to play songs and listen to songs I can hum to. And I know the lyrics too. Hello from Slovenia, Brigitta. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm going to take maybe... What time is it? 2:45. I'll take 2 more questions and then we'll call it a night. I was only supposed to be on for a few minutes. Didn't work out that like that. So if you have any questions for me, I would be glad to answer it for you. Meanwhile, I'm just going to play a little song list to buy time as well. I listen to, oh, by the way, I listen to music that's happy music too. That's another way in which I stay happy. And my tape is coming off. Yeah. This man's name just lifts me up just listening to him. He's a legend. I don't have to hear his songs. I just hear his name and I'm lifted. Engelbert Humperdinck. And everybody should Humperdinck once in a while.
was going strong. Through the good and bad, we get along.
So, questions, guys. Dr. Gill, you got charisma and talent to broadcast such a type of show. Think about it seriously. Boyan, I used to run a show here in Singapore for 7 years, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. I was solving people's problems from a psychology perspective, but I'm using less psychology now and more common sense. I want to talk to you in terms of what works rather than the psychology of what I think works. I hope you understand that as well. But thank you for the compliment. Ultimately, I am going to do this and help a lot of people for as free as possible. I mean, there's too many people out there already charging money. I mean, how much money do you need? I mean, really, you don't really need a lot. Enough to buy coffee in every part of the world. Yes, that's about as bad as I get, but that's about it, really. Questions, guys? Otherwise, we're going to call it a night in exactly 5 minutes. Leela says, I'm sewing a dress and listen to a wise man. It's a wonderful Thursday evening. Thursday evening. I don't know what you're smoking, but it's Wednesday, is it? Is it Wednesday, guys? Somebody help me here. I lost track of time because my head was kind of buried in all this work, and this computer has been my closest friend. Is it? So Leela, while you're smoking that dress, while you're sewing that dress, that's good. I'm not a wise man. I'm just Mel Gill. I just been through a lot. That's all. And I just want to share what not to do. Yeah? Boyan, I used to have a schedule. I used to start at 9 p.m. Singapore time. But you know what I'm going to do from now on? See, I can't commit to every day. That was my problem. Because I'm traveling a lot. So I will commit to how I'm in Europe smoking Mel Gill's experience. You have no idea the images in my head. It's still Tuesday in Slovenia. Yes, it is. Yes, it's Wednesday here already in Singapore. So Boyan, back to your question. Maybe should I broadcast this once a week or twice a week? What can I do? Give me some responses so that I have a clear idea. And we'll still call this program Uncommon Sense. So it's simple, right? Weekly live as opposed to weekly dead. What does that mean? Weekly live. You gotta full sentences, people, so I understand you. Dear Mel, you're smiling with your eyes, old soul. Thank you for that old soul comment. I feel young, actually, but thank you, Brigitte. I'm your friend. That's all I am, and my job is to stand by you throughout all of this. Hey, Mariana from Munich. Nice to see you. I'll be in Frankfurt actually in October for the book fair, possibly, if I finish my book. The next book I'm working on is called Anything is Possible. It's moving people from problem-focused mind to solution-focused mind, teaching people how to have possibility thinking. So far the book is already quite, I need to make it smaller. No, it's not so big. Twice a week. 2 people have said twice. Please, lots to learn and ask. Yes, we can ask. We can learn. Wow, my tape is coming off this thing. Sorry, it's gonna be a little off. I'm taping this to this iPhone to the thing. So far I've got 2 a week. Okay. What days are good? Twice a week, Claudia. Thank you so much. What days are good for you? Monday. We have Monday through Sunday. So tell me. For me, the days are all the same. I have no weekends like some people do. When they say thank God it's Friday, I say, why are you not saying thank God it's Thursday or Wednesday? Because I work all the time. It's kind of fun. Layla says 2. 2 of what, Layla? This is Mel Gill you're talking to. You give me a number 2, I will come up with a big joke about it. So I'm gonna stand by you. But you know what I'm gonna do? I'm also gonna say goodnight. It's 2:52. We're at 8 minutes going into midnight.
When the night
Past midnight.
has come
3 o'clock in the morning.
and the land is dark,
Tuesday and Thursday, done.
and the moon
I'll do that. That's a good
is
idea.
the only light we'll see.
So my friends,
No, I won't.
you've been listening to the voice of Dr. Mel Gill.
Oh, I won't.
This program is called Uncommon Sense.
Just as long as you
Every
stand,
Thursday night,
stand by.
don't know what time.
So darling,
And every Tuesday night, don't know what time.
by me.
Maybe
Oh, stand
11 o'clock p.m. Singapore time.
Oh, stand.
Singapore for now.
Stand by me. Stand by me.
Next month it's going to be Bulgarian
If the
time.
sky that we
And then I'll be in Slovenia also.
should
possibly
tumble
running a
and
seminar.
fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea.
Good night, my friends. Thank you for staying up with me.
I won't cry. I won't cry.
We'll talk to you on Thursday. Thursday
Shed
night.
a tear just as long
Good night, people.
as you stand by me.
Focus on the positives.
And darling, stand
Think about all the beautiful things you're going to do tomorrow.
stand by
Think about all the fun, the little things.
stand now.
Think about coffee,
Stand by me.
breakfast,
Stand by me.
making love, whatever. Thank you. I am. October. First week I'll be in Slovenia. Good night. Good night, everyone.
Darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me.